doubt about it, shit is coming. And I'm just praying that you love it. Always told myself that this the type of shit I wanted. I was being honest, even made a promise. Not with anybody else, this was in the conscience. Talking to my fucking self, that's a little
Hey, welcome everybody. In this video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about playing the longbow, how to do good with it in all match types, siege, deathmatch, doesn't matter, with or without a squad with you, with or without bringing good units with you, anything. So, just briefly, I've been playing the longbow since the start of the game. It's the only class I've ever enjoyed. When I say the beginning, I don't mean like a couple months ago for the open beta. I'm talking about early access, closed beta, all the tests, all of it. The reason I'm telling you that is because Longbow has gone through a lot of nerfs and buffs over time. It's been considered one of the best classes and one of the worst classes at several points, but no matter where it's ended up in the meta at the time, I've always found a way to end up doing pretty well with it regardless, and having a lot of fun doing it. So I would say we'll start with your hero attribute points, and the best way to break them down, but it's really just 100% agility. No matter what, no thought at all. So instead of going over reasons why I think that'll just kind of become obvious as we're going over the gameplay stuff. So instead we'll start with the skill list. This part's going to be pretty simple as well. You just pretend that the bottom 3 skills don't exist, and you never use them. The longbow is essentially, it's about doing very high damage very quickly to a concentrated unit or hero, and if you sacrifice one of your damage skills for an evasion skill, you end up just losing a part of your nuking ability, and your playstyle ends up adapting to just kind of having that getaway button, and you're taking away from your potential output and gaining these habits that aren't really making you a better player by relying on it. So instead you want your 3 basic abilities to be multi-shot, bodkin arrow, and fire arrow. Both bodkin and fire arrows have the added effect to them, bodkin reducing armor for a short time and fire burns for a short time. But you're really getting these just to be able to fire as many arrows as you can through your skills in quick succession. And you kind of take advantage of the mini stun that comes with that, but it's all about the damage. So for the ultimate skills, they do both have a time and a place, but the synergy that you get with the explosive arrow and your other skills is just too powerful to make the lightning arrow worth it. The lightning arrow can be kind of fun, kind of for 2 very specific reasons, I think. The first being when you get a hero who's lining up behind a shield wall. A lot of heroes, they think they're pretty safe in there. Some of them even be brave enough to just sit inside their shield wall at low health and start trying to heal up right in front of you. And that's a big mistake against lightning arrow, because you're obviously cutting right through and you're going to kill that guy just standing still every time. Because the arrow just travels right through units, when you come up against a line formation, be it spears, pikes, whatever, you can just pull up right beside that unit and get your arrow to travel through the entire back line of it. Sometimes it's really awesome watching like half of a shield wall just get cut down immediately in one shot. But still, even with the extra damage and being able to snipe people through their shield walls, the explosive arrow and how it synergizes with the rest of your skills to be able to drop just like a single glorious nuke on a hero, it's just not worth it, because even though the lightning arrow does have a little bit more damage to it on the single shot, it doesn't provide you with the knockdown that you get from the explosive arrow, and that knockdown is what lets you capitalize on all of the rest of your skills. So it's the synergy between the 2 of them that makes you so deadly. I mean, just check out this longbow here. He goes from 100% health to 0% health just off my skill attacks, and he doesn't even get to react to what's going on before he's dead. That's a nuke, man. So, moving on from the skill breakdown, I think there's a few almost kind of cardinal rules to follow as a longbow player. So, I'm just going to show some clips in the background here as I'm kind of just talking about the things that I do in battle and the reason why I do them. And so, I think at its core, the longbow is 100% a harassment weapon. You harass ranged units, you harass artillery placements, you harass heroes that got caught in the open, you just harass, be annoying as hell to playing against. The best way to do that is simply high ground. I really cannot stress this enough. Hold high ground at every possible opportunity. On the attacking side, defending side, doesn't matter. Look around at your maps and constantly be asking yourself, is it possible for me to get on top of that? I'm talking about siege towers, rooftops, staircases, hills, sometimes just getting on your horse for the extra foot or 2 of height. First, this is going to make it a lot easier to aim. Arrow drop is already super low after the last update, but if you're aiming down, it's pretty much 0. Like, where you aim is where the arrow lands. That's going to make it easier to select your target if stuff starts getting all bunched up. Like if you got a bunch of range tucked neatly inside some shields, being above them is going to let you see their heads and just, choose the ones that you want to shoot down. Second, it's going to make it a lot more difficult for enemy heroes to catch you. You'll be able to see them coming a lot easier. You should have more time to hear them if they do get close. And if worst comes to worst, when you're staying up high, you're usually providing yourself some form of escape that you don't have to rely on your skill tree for. That's where a lot of the plus-minusing comes from, and trading out all of your evasive skills for damage is making sure you're in the right place at the right time, so that if you do get caught, even if you get stuck in a melee stun lock, in the right positioning, you're often able to break away from that in a way that they can't catch you in time. You just get away. Third, it's also very easy to get caught in tunnel vision. When you're using a longbow and you're just sitting there concentrating on what you're shooting at, you start to lose sight of the map, you start to lose sight of what's going on around you strategically. Keeping high ground kind of puts everything that's going on within your field of vision when you're up above it all. It's going to help you better prioritize the targets that you should be selecting, see when there's location changes happening around you, and help you coordinate with your team and be a lot more effective. This is where your full agility breakdown is going to kind of start to make sense. You want to do the most damage possible versus unarmored units. Strength grants armor penetration, but that's pretty useless to you, even when you're stacking it up. If you balance strength and agility right, you can end up doing a couple, even a few hundred extra damage versus the heavily armored units, but it's going to take away your ability to slaughter all of the ranged units, and it's just not even close to worth it. Ideally, you want to always be shooting units that you can kill in one shot. So that at the end of the match, it's kind of just a question of like how many times can you pull back your bow and get those arrows out. So if you're just constantly pulling back and releasing, getting those one-hit kills, you're going to rack them up all game, and there's no reason that a longbow player should ever have less than 100 unit kills. Now, obviously, with that said, ranged is going to be your primary focus for most of the game. They're the weakest, kill them in one hit, and it makes sense for you to go after the units that your melee counterparts can't reach. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be an equal part of the main pushes to take the supply points, the caps. You have a place on the front line as much as all your other heroes. It's just a matter of timing, placement, capitalizing on your glass cannon style build. So you're going to want to be going in for big bursts of damage all at once and get out before they have the chance to retaliate. Let your cooldowns finish, and then go back in, nuke again. And you just continue this cycle to be at your maximum effectiveness.
Get some knowledge. Now, what's the one thing we have to remember about the ocean?
It's not safe.
That's my boy. So, first, we check to see that the coast is clear. We go out and back in. And then we go out and back in. And then one more time, out and back in. And sometimes, if you want to do it 4 times...
Dad.
All right.
Alright, I think you get it. It's a push and retreat kind of playstyle. Now take advantage of that as much as possible. You're going to want to combine your playstyle with units that also kind of fit into that glass cannon category. So if you combine strong unit skills with your own nuke output, it makes some absolutely devastating pushes. And they're really hard to see coming, and they're a lot harder to react to. And I'm referring to stuff like prefecture pikemen, prefecture archers, anything that's got a really high damage output skill on it, but that isn't really that great in just regular sustained combat. But to give you guys an example that kind of touches on everything that I've been talking about here so far, I'm going to go over a clip that I've got with a set of prefecture pikes, and I'll kind of break it down as I'm going through it. So I'm up top on the siege tower holding high ground, and I catch a dual blades trying to sneak up on me. So I charge in with the pikes, send them back, try to reposition them, and let the cooldown wear off. Now before that cooldown finishes, I got a glaive coming up at me. So I horse up, jump down so that I don't lose any of my own health. That lets me survive. And then I start pulling back. Now when I'm pulling back here, I'm not running away. We're just letting that cooldown finish. You see charge just finished there on the cooldown. Now you send that charge in, and look at all the heroes that just go down. Alright, so before this video starts getting too long, I'm going to cut it off here. Let me know if you learned anything here, if you liked the video, and I do have a lot more stuff that I could definitely go over on the class in terms of, where to be in the matches and kind of how to make your decisions in battle. So if that's something you'd like me to kind of go over, let me know, and I'll do some more videos on this topic. Alright, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you actually made it all the way through the video, then I don't know, you're awesome. And hopefully stick around for the next ones. Have a good one.